A lotus is a flower rooted in the mud that rises through and above to become a beautiful bloom. This is a podcast sharing mine and other stories of how we've done the same, choosing to rise above our circumstances to bloom. I'm your host, Amber. Let's get started. This is my friend Sherry, and we actually haven't known each other that long. I think it's been a year. Yeah. But we met because you are one of my most favorite teachers that my son's ever had.
Oh my gosh. I love to hear that. It touches my heart because I put a lot into loving those kids.
You can tell.
I love them.
Yeah. It was, I have to say, just the whole atmosphere of the school is just, we have another friend who actually, she joined, her daughter started this year. And that was one thing we were talking about, is like kind of comparing to the previous school that they went to, where we felt like they were learning, but at the same time, it just felt like a drop off, you know, whereas with Slope, it's like, you can tell how much the guides and everyone loves your kids.
We're a family. We're a community there.
Yeah.
Definitely.
And so just, especially I think for moms, our little mama heart dropping our kids off when they're not stoked about it.
Yes, I've been a mama. I remember dropping off my own. And I remember before I had children, I was thinking, oh, those mothers that just hover and just don't want to leave, or they cry. I kind of like poo-pooed them. And then I ate my words 100%. I was the mother in the coat room crying, like, can I leave him? Is he okay? His nose is running a little bit. Maybe I should take him home. Oh my gosh. So I get it. I have empathy because I've been that mom.
Yeah, I totally did the same thing. I never understood. My mom used to say like, oh, your first day of school, I cried. And I was like, why would you cry? Like, I was fine. It's just school. Like, you're going to see me in a few hours. And same thing, Beckett. I remember I dropped him off his first day of preschool. It wasn't for Slope, but it was at his previous preschool. And I had the gym right after. And I went to the gym and my trainer was like, knew that this was coming up. And she's like, you okay? And I just like burst into tears, and she had to spend the first 10 minutes just hugging me.
Consoling you. In reality, it really is harder for the parents and the kids. It really is.
Oh yeah.
And I get it. I've seen both sides.
Yeah.
Completely. I've lived both sides.
Yeah.
So I get it.
Oh, man. But yeah, I just want to have you tell like a little bit about your story. We've talked about it, and I thought I just really love your outlook and your resilience in some of the situations that you've been through.
Okay.
So, did you grow up here in Utah? Have you always lived here?
I have lived here my entire life. In fact, I bought a house about 2 blocks from where I grew up.
Oh, man.
And my own kids went to my same junior high and high school.
Was that kind of weird?
Yes. Going to parent conferences and walking in the halls. And there are still some teachers that are there.
Goodness. That is so weird.
It was weird.
My sisters and I were actually talking about how weird it is to be like, oh, wait, I'm the parent now. Like, I have to be the one to remember your lunches and your schedules. So I can only imagine going back to the school and being like, oh, there's my old locker.
And I did not love junior high. I had acne. I was awkward. Junior high is awkward anyway, but I was super awkward. But then when I would go into their junior high school, it was this shell came upon me like, oh my gosh, here I am again, back in the day. But then when they went to high school, they went to my high school. And I loved high school. And it was the best. I came out of my shell and I became authentically me. And I loved going and being there with them. I'm like, you guys got this. This is amazing. This is the best years of your life.
Oh,
yeah.
I love that. Yeah. What do you think it was between junior high and high school that helped you come out of your shell and be your authentic self?
Honestly, probably the acne. I got on Accutane.
Like, oh, good.
I don't have big boils all over my face.
Oh, yeah.
So I have empathy for that too, for people who just, they're going through stuff, and you just have to have compassion. Like, I couldn't control that acne, and I got made fun of. And then when I finally got it all cleared up and figured it out and how to have a good skin routine, in high school, I saw those kids with bad acne, and I was not mean to them. I was like, I get you. I understand.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's funny that you say that because I remember having a conversation when I was in high school, because I had really terrible acne.
Did you?
In junior high, like so bad. And I don't remember how we got on the topic, but I remember having the conversation of learning how to be kind of grateful for something like that because it teaches you how to have a personality and how to have compassion. And like that becomes your top trait. Like I almost felt like, well, I felt like at 12 years old, well, I don't have the look, so I have to compensate with my personality. And I'm going to be the one that's friends with everybody. And I'm going to be the one that, you know.
One a little secret about me.
Yeah.
And I own it. I own it because I feel like it's part of my story. I was not a very nice. I mean, I was nice to those who had acne, and I was, you know, compassionate.
Yeah.
But I was kind of a, can I say a bad word on this?
Yeah.
I was kind of a bitch. Oh. I went from being, have you ever seen Can't Buy Me Love?
No.
You haven't? Oh my gosh.
Who's in it?
Patrick Dempsey.
Oh.
And he pays somebody to be his girlfriend.
Maybe I
oh my
have
gosh,
seen it.
It's back in the 80s.
Okay.
He went from geek to chic, they called it. So I went kind of from geeky acne girl to I came out of my own, and I was fun, popular in the crowd, and I was kind of a bitch. You know, I wasn't nice.
I think we as women, we all kind of
go through that phase.
Yeah.
I'm glad I did it when I was younger.
Yeah.
And not as an adult. I learned a lot.
Yeah.
And looking back, I mean, I have gone to I've apologized to people.
That's really cool.
Yes. There was one boy that I was specifically just not nice. I was really mean. And I saw him at my own his kids go to Olympus where I went. And, I saw him there and I said, "Hey, I don't know if you know who I am." And he goes, "Oh, I know who you are." And my husband is so polite. He never did he's a nice guy.
I believe it.
And my husband looks at me like because he knows my story. He's like, oh boy. And I said, "I just need to apologize to you. I know better and I can do better." And he just looked at me and he said, "Thank you. Thank you."
Oh my gosh.
And I said, can I give you a hug? And he was kind of nervous. Like, is this a joke? Is she being this snotty girl? And I gave him a hug and I just said, "Thank you for accepting my apology." And I'm going to move. I mean, and I moved forward.
Yeah.
But I did that to a couple of people who I was not nice to.
I think that's so cool because I do think that a lot of us go through a phase where we are kind of bitchy and the mean girl phase.
Yeah.
And I definitely had my moments where I was a bit of a bully to certain kids. And it's really interesting in hindsight when you see those moments where you were a bully and you're like, I 100% was doing it because of something that was going on internally for me.
Absolutely.
And I think in the moment we don't think that statement is true of like, no, they're just a mean person. But that's 100% why sometimes I was a bully. And then it's really interesting, like as you get older, maybe not everybody feels this way, but I definitely look back and think like, oh, I wish I could apologize to that person or
yes.
And so I think it's really cool that you actually followed through on that.
I did.
That's
I had
awesome.
to come to Jesus moment of my life and realizing I can't, that's not my character. That's not who I want to be known for. That's not me. That was me acting that was me acting.
Yep.
Trying to fit in, trying to be the cool girl.
Felt like we had something to prove.
Yeah. Going from being this geek that I had to like show everybody that I'm not that person. Right.
Yeah.
Never again.
And that takes so much courage too, to be like, I think it's one thing to think it, but it's another thing to follow through and actually put yourself on the spot.
Yeah.
Because then it's, okay, let's draw attention back to this thing that I'm kind of embarrassed about. But no, that's really, really cool.
And I own it. I tell people, oh, you were so fun in high school. Like, thank you. If I ever offended you or hurt you or anything, let me know. Cause I want to clear that up and apologize. Cause that's not who I am today.
Now everybody knows they can message Sherry.
You can message me.
Here's a wince.
Ooh, but I will own up to it. I will own up to it. I will.
Oh, man.
And I'll probably remember it too. Cause I didn't feel good when I was doing those things. And it hurt me inside that I would say things but I still did it to fit in.
Yeah.
And so if I hurt you, I probably remember it.
So you'll remember what you're apologizing for.
will.
It's not just a generalized
really will.
sorry.
Genuinely.
Man.
Yeah.
Well, and then, so you made it through high school, and then when did you meet your husband?
Oh, this is a really cute story. Have you heard this? How I met my husband?
I don't know if I have.
Oh my gosh. I got to get comfortable here. It's a good one. So, I teach school, as you know. I taught your cute little young Beckett. 30 years ago, I was teaching. I was a kindergarten teacher. And my student came up to me one day. Her name's Lauren. And she said, Miss Sherry, will you marry my Uncle Dave? And I'm like, what? I mean, I was 19. I was young. And I said, oh, you're sweet. No, I think I was 20. Let me clarify. So I was way older than 19.
Oh, yes. So much.
So much older. So I said, why do you want me to marry your Uncle Dave? And she says, well, I want you to be my aunt, because we were talking about family trees and about family. And I said, oh, that's really sweet, but I don't know who Uncle Dave is, but thank you.
For all you know, he's like this.
He's married and has children. Who knows? Exactly. He's Uncle Dave. So the next day, in her lunchbox, she pulls out a picture of Uncle Dave and hands it to me. And she goes, here he is. Will you marry my Uncle Dave now?
Like, that's all I needed, actually.
And I did go, like, in my heart, bow, chicka, bow, wow. Like, I thought he was a cutie patootie. And again, he could be married. I don't know. And I said, oh, that is super sweet. Thank you for thinking of me. And put it back in her lunchbox. And that night, I get a phone call down to the office. Sherry, there's a Mrs. Spence on the phone, wanted to talk to you. And I thought, oh crap, am I in trouble? Because you get phone calls and you're like, oh, this is before email.
Say to a parent?
This is before email. Totally ages me here. Or before text. So I go down in the office and it's Lauren's mom, and she said, hello, Sherry. I was emptying out Lauren's lunchbox and I noticed a picture of Uncle Dave, and I'm trying to let me explain, like thinking that she's, I don't know,
Yeah.
And she goes, actually, it's a great idea. Can we line the two of you up?
Oh my gosh.
And I said, yeah, let's do it. Let's do it. And
it's hilarious.
Yeah. And so he called me at home. She gave him my number. I gave her my number, and he called me at home. And I remember I was watching 90210.
Love that.
I was living at home, and my mom yells down to me, Sherry, there's an Uncle Dave on the phone. And
I love that he even introduced himself still as Uncle Dave.
And I said, oh my gosh, and she goes, we don't even have an Uncle Dave, do we? And I'm like, no, but I know who it is. And I answered it, and he's like, hi, Miss Sherry, it's Uncle Dave. Yada, yada. And we planned our first date, and we fell in love on our first date.
Oh, I love that.
No joke. We literally fell in love. I mean, I talked, he's very quiet, he's very well-mannered, and I'm like, and he just listened and nodded his head. I'm like, yes, this is the kind of man I want. And then the next day at school, Lauren said to me, Miss Sherry, Uncle Dave says this, and she pats her heart. And I melted. And
oh my gosh.
Needless to say, 9 months later, we were married. Not engaged, married. Like, we could not stand to be apart. It was...
I love that. Oh, that's such a cute story.
So a 5-year-old
set you guys up. Nice. Do you ever talk to her sometimes about that? You're like, remember what?
Do you remember? I just saw her this past September. She's a grown-up woman. She lives in Texas. She runs an airport. Like, she's an adult.
Oh my gosh.
Successful human. And like this little human is responsible for my little village of humans.
Wow.
Had it not been for her,
yeah,
who knows where we'd be.
I know. That's so cute.
Yeah, we just celebrated our 30th wedding anniversary.
Wow.
This past September. Yeah.
That's so wild. And you have kids and everything.
Yep.
Man.
Yeah. So that's how it came to be.
That's so cool. How did you realize you wanted to be a teacher? Was it just something you've always?
No. Well, I would play school when I was a kid, but who didn't? But I was always the teacher.
Yeah.
I always I'm the teacher. And I struggled in school. I was not a good student. I struggled. And I was one of those kids that would cry, and my mom would have to like peel me off of her to get me in. And I didn't love it. But when I would play school, I was this nice, compassionate teacher that was trying to help the kids in my class be successful. And I got a job right out of high school at a daycare in a really shady part of town.
Oh, man.
And it was a great job. It was a 9-to-5 job. I've never worked 9 to 5 in my life. And it was in daycare and it was rough. It was really hard.
I can imagine.
And I actually witnessed a shooting, a gang shooting.
Oh my gosh.
It was down by the fairgrounds is where school was. Yeah. And I was this blonde hair, blue eyed girl, and I drove a red Acura. I did not fit in at all in the demographics of where I was teaching. Well, I was in the daycare, and I had pulled out of the parking lot. I was working the closing shift, so I was waiting for all the parents to pick up their kids. And at the end of the day, it was like 6 o'clock in the evening. I'm pulling out of the parking lot and I get kind of pinned in by 2 cars that are chasing each other. But I happened just to be in the middle. How I was pulling out, I don't know. And one guy gets out of his car and starts shooting the other guy in front of me, who was on foot. These 2 cars were chasing a guy on foot.
Oh my gosh.
And people are like, did you see him get shot? I'm like, I don't remember. All I remember, my car was a stick shift. And I remember my foot was just shaking and I couldn't get it into gear. And I just wanted to get out of that air. I just was just petrified. And somehow I backed it up because I had to back up to get away from them and then go around them. And I remember driving down State Street vividly and my arms are shaking and my legs are shaking and I just didn't know what to do. Again, before cell phones, I didn't know what to do. And so my brother worked at OC Tanner at the time. So I'm like, this is the closest place I could go. I didn't know who to talk to, what to do. And I was just freaking out. And I pulled into OC Tanner and they're full of police, obviously, right? OC Tanner is. And so he got me a policeman to come out and talk to me. And a gang unit police officer came out and they got all around me and they escorted me home. And then they had a patrol car around my house for about a week. And they said that I couldn't go back to that job because I stuck out. I didn't blend in. Right.
So they'd be able to spot you.
Yeah. And I had just bought this car with I just bought it. I'm like, I have a 9-to-5 job. I got a cute little Acura sports car. And no, I don't have a job.
How am I going to pay this?
How am I going to? I had to make a car payment. And that was why my parents are like, no, this is your car. You have to make the car payments. You're out of high school now, honey. You're on your own. Jeez. And so I remember driving by this school in my new car and it said Monta something. I couldn't even pronounce it, but it said childcare now hiring. I'm like, well, I'll just pull in there and see if they're hiring. And I walked in and the rest is history. It was Montessori and they were hiring a daycare person because I was in school in the morning. I was going to the community college in the morning. And then I would do the daycare in the afternoon. So it worked out perfect for my schedule. And then that's how I met Lauren. Well, the next year I became a teacher. I did some training throughout the summer and the rest of the year and got my Montessori degree. And from then, 30 years of Montessori education. I've got 3 different Montessori credentials. So that's kind of, so did I fall into teaching? No, I literally drove into teaching. I didn't know.
You're like, I was escaping and then I had to find a new job.
Exactly. I had a car payment I had to make and I couldn't even pronounce Monta. What is it? And then I just saw childcare underneath it. And
that's funny.
The rest is history.
I love that.
Yeah.
Talk about a random thing just shoving you into.
Exactly.
Because you probably would have stayed at that school.
Oh, I totally would have. Yeah.
Done whatever.
Yeah.
That you have a lot of little things that if they hadn't happened just so.
I am a huge believer in the cosmic approach of life. You have to be in the right mindset at the right time for things to happen.
I 100% agree with that. I think there are so many things, even conversations that I've had with people where years later they'll be talking about something and I think I understand it. But then a couple years later, I'm in a different situation where I'm like, oh, and it just clicks for me. And then all of a sudden, the ball just gets rolling.
Yeah.
So I definitely think that things happen at just the perfect time to be the perfect opportunity.
Right. And that thing that might happen might not be something you're like seeing a guy get shot. I didn't see him get shot, but witness an attempted shooting. He did shoot at him, but I did not visually see him go down.
Yeah.
So that was horrific. That was petrifying. That was everything. And I was panicked and I have a car payment to make. What am I going to do? Yada, yada, yada. But then that led to even bigger and better things.
Yeah.
So I would tell my kindergartners, out of a storm, there's always a rainbow, right? And the storm's really hard right now, but it's going to be beautiful. It will be beautiful. Be patient.
Yeah.
Be patient.
Well, and sometimes you can't see, you're just a little too close to it to see. It's always when you finally get to step back and you're like, oh my gosh. I think sometimes I remember instances where I would get fired from a job and think that it was just the worst thing that had ever happened to me. And then I would start another job, and that led me to meeting one of my best friends because we were coworkers, you know, or little things like that. Or even how I met my now husband, of like, I never would have met him if A, B, and C hadn't happened, that I thought was just like the most heartbreaking thing that could ever happen to me. And then now here I am in this amazing relationship with these kids. And
and we get to be friends.
I know.
Right?
All these things that fall into place.
It's true.
That's really
At the right time.
Exactly.
At the right time.
There are a lot of things, because I always think about with Ben and my relationship, there were other opportunities that we could have met. It was just so crazy. Like, we lived at the bottom of 3rd Avenue and his mom lives in the avenues. And my mom had a cleaning job that literally is like kitty corner from his mom's house. And she would house sit, and we were there once a week, and we would hang out and watch her cat. She traveled a lot. So I was right there all the time. I lived 2 blocks away from his sister, while his sister lived there. And there was a house that was just around the corner from his house where we used to hang out and go to parties there all the time. And I remember driving past his house on a dirt bike one time because he was having a party, and I was like, I want to go to that party. And they were like, no, Amber, we have to keep going.
We're focusing.
And so like all of these little instances where we could have met and it wouldn't have been the right time. We would have just probably not even been interested in each other with where we were at our points in life.
Crazy, right?
Yeah. It's so wild.
Has to be right.
I know.
And sometimes we want it to be right, right? We want it to be right. Why isn't this right? Trust the universe. Not that I've done some stupid things too, where I haven't followed the intuition of what should happen. But hopefully it teaches me to be patient, be patient.
Well, and even in those moments where it's like, I had this intuition to do something and I didn't, and something else happened. And if I would have just listened to that, I think for a really long time when I would have instances like that, I would kind of beat up on myself of like, oh, come on, Amber, you should have known better. What were you thinking?
Oh, yes.
And we have that tendency to just beat up on ourselves and that negative self-talk, instead of being like, okay, well, I'm going to remember how that felt when I had the intuition come in, so that later when my intuition is trying to speak up to me, I actually listen to it.
Absolutely.
That's something that I've been practicing lately.
Oh, absolutely. I still have, I have moments where I wish I could go back and say, okay, I could have done this better. I could have handled this better. And yes, this hurt, but I didn't need to respond in this way. Right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So many things. And I don't know, it's the whole butterfly effect. I think that's the other thing too, is that it's really easy to go back and think like, oh, if I could change this one thing, then this wouldn't have happened. This would have been better. And then I would be basking in the sunshine. But then it's also like, but then if I hadn't done this, I wouldn't have done this.
Yes.
Like I remember when I was 18 and you suddenly get all of the notification, all the the letters of you're pre-qualified for, I was like, sign me, free credit cards. Yeah. I think I had like 5 credit cards. And I also had the idea, because nobody talked to me about financials, I was just like, well, if I don't pay it and they keep calling, if I just ignore their calls long enough, they'll get the message that I'm not going to pay them back. Oh my gosh. So that was a whole nightmare.
That's a learning experience
in itself. And so my debt was like a really big part of my life for a solid chunk of years. And definitely affected my relationships, my friendships, and how I lived my life. And so there's a lot of me that's like, man, if only I had just paid them, if I had just done this, or when I had a savings, if I had just used it to do this or whatever. But it's like, if I hadn't done that, then I wouldn't have met some of the friends that I have, or I wouldn't have been so desperate for a job that I ended up signing up for this job that I don't ever remember applying for and somehow ended up having a career in it, you know? So yeah, just all of these.
And being a responsible adult now.
Right? Exactly. Of like how much it matters to me now.
And how you raise your kids and talk to them about money. And yes.
Yeah. Well, because those weren't things that were,
No.
My grandma taught me how to balance my checkbook. And my mom taught me you pay your bills before you pay anything else. But there was no conversation about paying off debt or when you have debt, what it means.
I didn't even know what a credit card
was. Debt to income. Like, I don't know any of that stuff. And so.
Never spoken about.
Yeah. Definitely
my
something
kids
that
know. I made sure they know because I know what you're talking about real well. I think we all might have done that.
Yeah.
Oh, credit card.
A credit card. Free
What
money.
does this mean? I just swipe it?
Yeah. It just pays for things.
Okay. Yeah. I used my first credit card after I was married. I had no idea. But I got married at 21.
So still
I was a baby.
Yeah. Little baby.
I was a baby.
So I did want to talk to you about, you and I had a really cool conversation not too long ago about you had some health issues.
I did.
And those were like a huge wake up call of what was going on with your life. Do you mind just sharing that experience?
I would love to, because it's shaped me to be who I am today. In 2021, so during COVID, so we had COVID, right? And my husband has a job in the health field. He is pretty high up in the health field, and his job is to make sure we get vaccinated and to make sure that we, follow the rules. Board of Health is this, and this. And so we were fortunate enough to be early ones to get the vaccine, the COVID vaccine.
Yeah.
And so I went, I remember the date. It was February 13th. I was able to go get my COVID vaccine. I went with 2 coworkers, one whom which you know.
Yep.
And went to go get the shot. We got it. And it's like, okay, we're so lucky, yada, yada. And within like 2 or 3 hours, it was pretty quick.
Yeah.
I'm like, oh man, I feel kind of achy, which all of us did, right? It was an achy
and
body.
they tell you, honestly, with a lot of vaccines, you're going to feel.
Or the flu shot, you feel achy. And I remember driving, because we went out to dinner afterwards, the group of us, and I was driving. I'm like, oh man, my legs are just aching like crazy. And they're like, yeah, I feel kind of nauseous, or I feel kind of achy here or there. And I just didn't think much of it.
Yeah.
So the next day was Valentine's Day, and I worked in Provo. I live in Salt Lake, and I drove myself down to Provo, and my coworker that I had gone to get the shot with was there. And I'm like, how are you feeling? And she was feeling really just sick. She was sick. And I'm like, don't your legs hurt? And she's like, no, my legs don't hurt. Like, I'm just achy. I'm like, my legs are killing me. I can barely even move my legs. Valentine's Day, I had parents there. We were sitting around our circle in kindergarten, and they're passing out their Valentines, and it's cheerful and love's in the air. And I went to stand up, and I couldn't. My legs, I could feel them. They were felt like shards of glass ripping through them. But my brain was disconnected from my legs. So I was like trying to get up. I'm like, I can feel them, but why can't I move them? I couldn't move them. And it was terrifying. And I started like tears on my eyes and big tears down my face. And I was trying not to scare the kids, because you don't want those kindergartners to see your teacher cry. You don't see your teacher cry.
Yeah.
And I motioned to one of the parents in the room, and I said, I need you to go get some help. Can you go it was Mr. Matt and another guy that worked there. I'm like, I need help to get up off this floor. And I was quite large. I was 270 pounds.
Oh, wow.
I was large and unhealthy.
I can imagine.
And unhealthy. And it took 2 teachers to come and hoist me up off the ground. And I called an Uber because I couldn't drive, but I was not going to take an ambulance to Salt Lake.
Yeah, that would be.
And I'm fine. I'm mentally fine. I just can't move my legs.
Yeah.
And so they put me in an Uber, and I Ubered to Salt Lake to the hospital in Murray, and I called my husband on the way. And I said, so I can't move my legs. He's like, what are you talking about? Yeah. I said, I think you need to meet me at the emergency room in Murray, because that's our big hospital. And he's like, okay, I'll meet you there. He met me there. They had to wheelchair me in. And from that moment, they thought I had Guillain-Barré, which is some saying disease. I don't know what it was. Something that you can get from vaccines, where it damages your nerves, I guess. And they have to do a spinal tap to see if it's Guillain-Barré. It wasn't Guillain-Barré. So they brought in an infectious disease doctor, came in, and I told them that I got the vaccine, and they wanted my card that has the vial number and what time I got it and who I was with. And I had to contact my 2 friends who I was with, because we all got it out of the same vial.
Oh.
Yeah. And
that's interesting.
Neither one of them had any issues. Like, they were achy, but they could walk.
Yeah.
And I had to fill out a report to the CDC. And here I'm sitting with my husband, who
is his profession.
In his profession.
Yeah.
Way up there in his profession. And it was kind of scary. And they're like, we think maybe you have MS. So we're going to do an MRI to see if you have MS. So here I'm sitting there like, oh my gosh, I have MS, and it just is affecting my legs, and the vaccine just fired it up. I don't know. Yeah. Wasn't MS. And so I was there for a good 24 hours while they were prodding me and probing me and trying to figure this out.
Yeah.
And they're like, we're just going to send you home. We're going to get you in, because they could get me into a neurologist. I couldn't just go get into a neurologist.
Yeah,
it would
neurology,
take months, right?
It's forever.
So they got me into a neurologist like a couple days later, and the neurologist did all sorts of tests on me, and then sent me to a rheumatologist, and the rheumatologist did tons of tests on me. And in the meantime, they're like, maybe we think you have a brain tumor that's on your spine. So let's get you in for an MRI.
Let's give you just one scary diagnosis.
Run after another. And so you get those MRIs, and then you have to wait several days to get the results. It's just not immediate that you get the results. So you have these days where you're like, oh my gosh, what if this is happening?
Yeah.
We need to prepare our family, prepare our finances, this, that, and the other. And it wasn't a brain tumor. Okay, maybe there's a tumor on your spine. And then maybe you have ALS. I mean, it was getting freakier and freakier and freakier of trying to figure out what is wrong with me.
And all of these things that they're saying, maybe it could be, or you're basically like, how much, what's my quality of life, and for how much longer?
Exactly. Yowza. And my husband's thinking, what's going to happen with my family, Yeah. And in the meantime, he is knee deep in COVID vaccines, because the vaccines are brand new, and he is high up there in the health field, and he is promoting these vaccines. Get your vaccines, get your vaccines. We got to be healthy. We have to do this, this, and this. Yeah. And he is so busy. Like, he is at work constantly. He's in the medical, like in the field of medicine, not medicine, but the health field. Yeah. And so he had to be gone constantly. Yeah. I was home alone all day long. I couldn't go back to work. I didn't go back.
Well, because this whole entire time your legs are still not
working. No, but they were in such pain, and they would like twitch. I would have these little random twitches. Interesting. And if I laid on the floor with my feet up against the wall, the pain would go away. So I would lay on the floor in my house and just have my feet up and watch TV. And then we got
Which I've heard is actually really great for your circulation.
Right. So we went and then got a bed that does the moving of the bed thing, the leg. Yeah. Whatever those beds. Those beds. Yeah. And I would have to be in such weird positions so my legs wouldn't ache. So my sweet husband slept in a little teeny room on a single bed, because he could not sleep in these random positions. Yes. At the time, we didn't think about getting the split ones that do two different, but we didn't. We just got the one. So he wasn't sleeping with me. I was alone in this bedroom. He was gone all day. I had 2 kids in college. One was in high school, and he was gone all day. And so I was alone all day, and I couldn't do anything. I had to use crutches to get to the bathroom, and DoorDash. Had to get food, because standing up too long was scary for me, because I couldn't be functionable. Yeah. I loved a warm bath. It made my legs feel a little softer, didn't hurt so much. But here I'm on all these medications. They're trying to figure it all out. So I'm depressed. I'm full of medications. All I'm doing is watching politics on TV because it was a very political time. It was 2020, 2021, very political time frame. And just watching Lifetime murder shows, just lots of negativity into my life. And I remember I got in the bathtub one afternoon and I couldn't get out. I was stuck. And that was the moment that I hit the rock bottom. Yeah. I'm like, I am 270 pounds. I'm naked in a bathtub and it's the middle of the day and I can't get out. Do I call my son at Olympus High School and say, hey, can you come get your large naked mother out of the bathtub? Oh, man. No. Do I call my husband who's clear? He worked, an hour away to come home and hoist me out of the bathtub. He probably couldn't lift me.
Yeah.
Do I call an ambulance and all the neighbors are going to be like, what's going on at the Spence house?
Yeah.
And hoisting me up out of the bathtub? Like, it was degrading. It was embarrassing. It was, what have I done to my life? It was just, they say you have to get to the lowest point to be able to really crawl out of something, right? Yeah. And it was a storm. There was no rainbow in this storm right now. It was pouring rain in this storm of my life.
Yeah.
So I waited it out. I sat in this bathtub, let the water drain, and I waited and waited and waited several hours.
Wow.
Several hours. I sat in an empty bathtub before I could finally get enough strength to get out of the tub because my legs had relaxed so much.
Yeah.
And I had to wait for them to get tense again before I could hoist them out.
Oh, wow.
It's weird. And then I just crawled myself and got myself dressed. And that was the moment I'm like, I have to make a change. I've got to figure something out. What can I get my hands on? And it was podcasts I was listening to, like, I can't remember any of the names of them, but positivity and light, put light in your life, kindness, pure. I didn't allow myself anything but Up TV and Hallmark. I'm like, okay, no more politics, gone. No more murder mystery books or murder mystery podcasts or Lifetime, all the negativity that's on. Nope, no more.
Drama, yeah.
And I had some friends in my life that were really negative too. And I just had to I wasn't mean. I just like, oh, you know what? I can't have any visitors. I'm not feeling great. That would come over and just bash on this, that, and the other. And I'm like, can't have it. I just had to put it all away and just put positivity in my life. Right? I don't know how to explain that.
No, that makes perfect sense to me because I feel like during that time with all of the news and everything that was going on, it was just like one thing after another. And then there were killer bees and
it was very negative.
Anything that could go negative was happening. And it was so amplified.
And such a divisive, everybody. I mean, COVID was such a divisive, and we're trying to help save people, but what we were doing was pulling people away. It just turned into this huge divisive mindset.
Yeah. And I remember it got to the point where, for me, just a small little blip is my friend, we would like send each other stuff, and she sent me something from some influencer that she didn't agree with. Well, then of course I agree with my friend of this person, how they're phrasing this sentence. And so I just went on this whole like trolling for this one person, for probably about 2 or 3 days. And then back to like what you were saying of like, you realize, oh, that's not me. I'm not that bully. And I went back, I think it was like a week later, and messaged her and was like, you know what? I'm so sorry. That's not who I am.
That's not who I am. No.
And I think you're just doing the best that you can. And you just like was super real with her and apologized about it. And she did message me back. She's like, I have a lot of respect for you saying that. But it made me realize like same thing, all of this stuff that I'm taking in is turning me into this angry person.
It does. And it hardens you, literally hardens you inside. Like, because you get tense and your whole body is feeling this. And people could say like one tiny thing and it snaps you.
Yes. And I did not like that. And I remember my husband being like, you need to turn it all off.
Yep.
And even now with everything that's going on, we just don't pay attention to stuff anymore because I think once you realize the difference in your life once you do start bringing in, replacing it with positivity and your outlook changes. The idea of going back feels suffocating.
It does. It really, really does. During this past election, I was recording all the news channels again, and my husband saw it on our DVR. He's, Sherry, what are you doing? I'm like, well, I don't want to miss if something happens. I don't want to miss it. And he needs to just pause. And I was already in this past year, I was already in this, just things were really hard for me this past year, and health, job, personal, all of the above was just kind of like crumbling. But I was allowing it to. And he said, I can see in your body, you're not walking straight. I can see that you're limping. I can see how tired you are. He's like, you are breaking down right in front of me. I can visually see it. And I took a step back and I look back at, yes, I was watching my politics. I was slipping. I call it like leaning back into my old life, watching, some of, spooky shows and listening to or reading a little bit more creepy books. And I was leaning back. And next thing I know, my whole body was just, my body does not lie.
Isn't that?
It does not lie.
Yeah. That's something I've talked to a lot of people about, of how there's a book that I actually haven't read, but I've been meaning to.
The Body Keeps Score?
Yep.
Read it. Yep.
And it's so wild how many times in hindsight you look back and it's like your body is screaming at you to change something.
Yes.
And in your instance,
oh my gosh,
it couldn't have been any louder.
No.
Man.
No. It was, So this past year back to 2021, I was doing everything. People are like, well, how did you get fixed? I don't know, because and my husband, the scientist, is like, Sherry, you have to just do one thing at a time to see if that's going to work. Give it like 2 or 3 months to see if it works, and then try something else. And I thought, I don't have 2 or 3 months just to try to see if that's going to work. Yeah. I want to try this, and this. I was not being patient. And so I was doing Western medicine and Eastern medicine, and I was doing Reiki. I was doing massage. I was doing chiropractic. I was doing physical therapy. I was doing acupuncture. I cranial sacral massage. And I was going to doctors and MRIs, and I was doing everything I could possibly do. So people are like, well, what fixed it? What made you get better? I don't know. Yeah. I just think it was a combination of willpower. I was going to walk again. I was not going to let my life pass me by. Was not. And I was not going to miss. Because we're a family that always shows up for each other. They all were athletes, track runners and soccer players. And we always showed up. Like our kids on a Saturday, it wasn't, are you going to come to the game? It was, let's go. We're going to the game. Yeah. Or let's go. We're going to the track meet, or we're going to watch this. We always showed up. Never a question. And I wasn't showing up because I physically couldn't. And I could see that my kids didn't tell me. They're like, oh, it's okay. No big deal. But I know their mom's not there. Or they'd drive and they would leave me in the car, and I would sit in the parking lot and I would watch. I'm like, I don't want to be that.
Yeah.
This is not how I am.
A spectator in life.
No. Not going to happen. Yeah. So I did everything I could possibly do to change everything. I wanted to get back to homeostasis. Is that what it's called? Where you're back to completely natural. Yeah. I got rid of everything that was in my body. I got rid of it. I tried to. If it's not natural, if it's not healthy, if I can't read the label, if I can't
pronounce it,
gonzo. Yeah. And and in all of the things that I was doing with the MRIs too, they were finding things, but not things that were related to my legs.
They're like, oh, by the way.
Yes. So in my neck, I had 6 thyroid nodules. That's the word. Yeah. 6 of them.
Holy cow.
And that was contributing to my being overweight as well. Yeah. And so I had hit my deductible at this point. Yeah, and like, so they're like, well, we can go in and we can radiate them or put something in them. I don't even remember. I can be honest with you. I have no idea. I did so many things, but that was probably the most painful thing I've ever done in my life. You're laying there, and it was during I had to wear a mask. It was during the COVID time, and I'm wide awake. And they are putting these needles into my thyroid, it was awful. Yeah. Then I had to wear a neck brace. I have a picture of me with a neck brace and on crutches. I'm like, could this get any worse? What is this? What is this? Right?
That's so wild.
And my sweet daughter was the one that took me there, and she had class between this, that, and the other. And I'm like, just drop me off, go to class at the U, and then come pick me up. And she's like, no, I'll just sit in the waiting room. And I'm like, so glad she did, because it was so terrifying and it was awful. But so I have that. So now I'm on thyroid medication for the rest of my life. So that helped with the weight loss. And then they found that my gallbladder was oozing out stuff. So I had my gallbladder removed.
Oh my gosh.
I mean, what else? Oh, in my knee, I had a knee surgery because I went to an orthopedic during this whole time, obviously, because my legs weren't working. And they did an MRI on my leg, and I had a torn meniscus root tear.
Oh, wow.
Which is supposed to be very, very painful. Well, I had no idea because I couldn't feel it.
Yeah.
So I had a major knee surgery where I couldn't put weight on my leg for 6 weeks. Well, I'm like, I can't put weight on it anyway.
Yeah.
So let's do it. Let's do it.
Like, what a time when you can't feel it anyways.
Right. So I was doing, it was nuts. It was, people were like, you're having surgery again? You're having that again? Like, what is up with you? I was doing everything.
Yeah.
You name it, I was doing it.
Man, how long did it take from Valentine's Day until
9 months?
9 months.
9 months.
Wow.
Yeah. Be fully walking again.
Yeah.
I went from I went from a wheelchair. I have a picture of me in a wheelchair. My daughter is wheeling me through Fashion Place Mall because she wanted to go get a dress for an event, and she wanted me to go with her. And I'm like, no, I'm not going. I can't walk. And she's like, Mom, just go in a wheelchair. And that was hard. I was like, oh my gosh, here I am. What if somebody sees me? What if this? What if that? So anyway, from wheelchair to crutches to cane to without anything. And I live on this corner in our neighborhood. We have a really long sidewalk in front of our house. And my goal, because my family lives in Florida, was I wanted to go to Florida for the summer because that's what I normally do.
Yeah.
And my goal was, if I can walk my corner, then I can go to Florida. And I did it. And then the teacher that at Slope, she was a good supporter. So she came with me to Florida, and another friend came with me to Florida to help me, get on the airplane. And like, I can do this. I can do it. And they were there the whole time with me, and I got stronger walking on the beach. They were helping me and getting in the water, good for the legs, just getting the movement and exercise again. And that was like I had a goal what I wanted to get to.
I love that I don't know, like you had all these different little goals, but I think it's really cool that you pushed yourself, and it was just like, what's happening now isn't acceptable.
It's not. No. Yeah. Yeah.
And that it needed to change, and that you did everything you could.
Everything I could possibly think of.
I feel like, I don't know, I say this a lot on this podcast of it's all about choice. Mm-hmm. And at the end of the day, like we get to choose how we react to something. Mm-hmm. And that can determine sometimes the next level of outcome for us. Mm-hmm. So for instance, just as an example, like I grew up with parents in addiction, in and out of prison, homeless, living with people. My grandparents raised me for the most part. And there are a lot of people, even some of my siblings included, where we grew up in a similar way. Mm-hmm. And I've seen them use that almost as an excuse of, well, this is all I have. Well, I don't know any better. Well, you don't understand why it's so hard for me. And just all these excuses of why it's so hard. And I get that it's hard. It is hard. And there are some situations where having my grandma raise me versus staying with my mom while she was the deepest in her addiction was such a blessing. Like that was my ticket out of there. Mm-hmm. And so I was super fortunate in that aspect. And to have an example and to have a glimpse of like what a normal life could be. But at the same time, I just think like at a certain point, you're an adult making choices for your own life.
Right.
And it doesn't have to be like that dramatic of what's going on, but you're an adult making choices in your own life. And so if something happens to you, you can decide to sink into that because you 100% could have
just sunk deeper. I did.
Yeah.
I did. I was like, oh, poor me, or why me? What did I do to deserve this? But it's okay. It's okay to have those feelings, but it's what you do after.
Yes.
Yes.
And
still as an adult too, like things have happened to me in my life, and I have to, it was one of my really good friends who said this to me. It's okay to say it. That hurt. That sucked. That was awful. And then, then what did you do after that?
Yeah. And I think that's actually really, really important too, because the other part of it is we're not just brushing over stuff and trying to move past it and bury all the feelings down and everything so that we can go to the next step. I think what's so important to go to the next step and actually be in a healthy space is to acknowledge the feelings that you're feeling with whatever's going on.
Exactly. And it's easy, I think, to be, I don't want to think about it. I don't want to talk about it. I don't want to. Well, how are you going to move past it if you don't?
Yeah.
Because I want to move past it. I don't want to be stuck.
And ignoring it is not moving past it.
No, it is not moving past it. No.
And I think that in ignoring it and shoving it down, there's a lot of shame and fear in that. And there's no healing in shame and fear in those places. I forgot what I was going to say. You said something that I was going to...
It'll come back to you. It always does in the most random times of your life.
Does.
Oh, yes. That's what I was going to say.
Be driving home.
You're washing your hair, doing the dishes. That's when it'll come back to you. So, yes. But about moving forward, you have to, there's always pain in growth, pain in change, right? And we have to have pain to move forward. I mean, unfortunately we do. And that pain only makes us stronger. I hate saying that, but it does.
I think though, it's like you were saying before about the whole storm. And then at the end, there's a rainbow, or it's darkest before dawn. Like there's a lot of sayings that basically say like, things are going to be hard, but it's not always hard unless you make it that way.
Yeah.
Like, but if you're pushing through and trying to heal through all of that, that's where the rainbow comes in.
And I'm a huge believer in saying, like, I'll talk to my husband and say, today I feel really good. Oh, thanks. Okay. Like, what are you saying that for? And then I'll say, like today I feel my legs really hurt, or today I just feel really heavy. It's important to be in tune with how you're feeling that day, and to share it with someone that you can trust, you know, and to say it out loud or say it in the mirror. Just today, I don't feel great, but I'm going to still show up for myself. Even though I don't feel great, I'm still going to stand up. I'm still going to move. I'm still going to do something kind today.
Yes.
For somebody else. Because for me, that's something that has also shaped me in this whole scheme of things. I remember laying there and when I couldn't move, and I was just praying to Jesus, let me get through this. I know this is pain. I know this is, but I promise I will be a better person. You know, the old, please help me. And then I will promise I will blah, 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 blah. I did that. We all did that, right? Bargaining, definite bargaining. And when I got better, I'm like, okay, I'm going to show up.
Yeah.
I'm going to show up for people. I'm going to show up for myself. I'm going to show up and I'm going to be the better human, because I am so dang lucky that I can walk and my brain works and I'm okay. And I show up for people. Yeah. And for myself.
You do. I can. Yeah. 100%. Well, and I like that you said, even the pushing through and doing something kind for somebody. It's crazy how many times I will start out in such a grumpy mood, or, oh, today's so awful, I don't want to do anything, and I'm just dragging, and then something happens or a conversation happens, and maybe it's not me doing something kind, but somebody had the idea that they were going to do something kind for someone else, and that happened to be me, and my day turns around.
Yes.
And so I think I love that you said starting your day off with just how you're feeling, and just knowing that that doesn't mean the whole day is going to be like that.
No, that's that moment. Yeah. That's the moment.
I very rarely, that I can think of on the spot, have had a day that started out a certain way and continued like that the whole day, or for days on end.
If it did, it's because you didn't change the narrative. And my kids laugh at me when I'm always like, change the narrative. So that's always their big saying. Oh, Mom, change the narrative. I'm like, you little stinker. You're right, though. You're right. You know, and I wore authentically me. This is me authentically. And I didn't pick this sweatshirt for this.
So funny.
But it's just like, this is me. Kindness.
It is.
And I'm not always kind. I try my best.
Well, you're human.
I'm human,
too.
Right? Yeah. But just little random acts of kindness, just even a smile to somebody at the grocery store, or just a small little compliment, just noticing somebody, and up to big things, right? It could be giant things you could do, but they don't always have to be big and giant.
Yeah.
Just something.
Well, like I remember, I don't know who I've heard it from, but it was like, if you're looking in a room and I tell you to look at all the things that are red, and you go through and you count all the things that are red. And then I say, okay, but how many things blue did you see? Well, probably none, because you were looking for the red.
Right.
But also goes the other way of like, whatever you're looking for, you will find. And so if you start looking for, I've made it this practice sometimes of, when I'm in crowded areas, I look for things that I like about other people. So like at the airport.
Yes.
And sometimes I'll say something to somebody if I feel it's appropriate, and sometimes I won't. But when you see somebody, or even like you said, just a smile, there have been times we just went on a big trip with a bunch of friends, and when we came back, we're in the airport, and especially in the airport, people are just like in the zone. I got to get to my gate. I got to make sure I'm on time. Do I have all my stuff? Did I forget anything? Like their mind is 500 different places. But it was so interesting to see when I would smile at somebody and you could see it kind of stir them and they would smile. And then you could see them carry that smile for at least, 5-10 steps later. So for those 5-10 steps, their mood was changed. It brought them back to the present.
And you don't know, maybe they're traveling to go to a funeral. Maybe they're traveling to go help a friend that's an addict. Maybe they're like, you don't know what everyone's going through. And just by that smile or just the good to see you, or good morning, something, you don't know what that could do to somebody else.
Yeah.
In that small moment.
Even just like, a funny comment that gets the other person laughing. And not to say I'm looking for opportunities to be a jester, but just being my authentic self. And, and I just, man, it sets a whole mood.
It really does.
And if they're going through something like that, and and that moment of laughter or a smile, or just bringing them to the present moment and out of their worrying mind, can go a long way.
It really does. Like today, I mean, I randomly, I'm a Starbucks girl. Every morning I go to Starbucks. And I used to always say, okay, every Friday I'm going to buy the car behind me a drink so they can have a good weekend, And then people would say, why are you doing that? If they can afford to go to Starbucks, you don't need to buy their drink. So I stopped doing it for a long time. Yeah. Today, randomly, they're both of us pulled in at the same time. And this lady's like weighs me to go in. So I go in and I thought, I'm going to buy her drink. But then my little voice, well, she was in a really nice car. She looked really put together. And I thought, she doesn't need me to buy her drink. And then I paused again. I don't know what she's going through. I have no idea who she is, what she's going through. And this drink might make her day an amazing day. Yeah. Just a little $5 coffee, I
love that, because that's I think it's a great practice in general, but what I love most about it is that it reminds us that everybody is a human. I think I was actually having a conversation recently about how, I don't know if everybody's like this, but I know that I had this mindset of, if somebody's really pretty, then we have nothing in common.
Yes, their life is easy.
Yes, their life is easy. They have it put together. Things come easily for them. And we can't relate to anything. And I actually have a friend who, when I first met her, I made it a point to talk to her because I thought she was really, really pretty. And I had that thought process. And so I put myself out of my comfort zone. And then the next time that we hung out, and when we were meeting in these women's coaching groups. And so we're going like deep into our feelings. So I think in a normal setting, I probably wouldn't have been as open with her, but the fact that we were all going so deep so soon. Yeah. And so the next time that I met her, I said, you know what, I want to tell you, I didn't want to be your friend when I first met you, because I thought that you were so pretty and I thought there's no way we could have anything in common and And it turned out we actually had a lot in common with the way that we grew up and some of the feelings that we felt as teenagers and even as adults and things that we've gone through in our marriages. And so it's just really interesting how we've become pretty good friends through that. And that was my lesson of, you know what, somebody who's really pretty is probably going through a harder time than I am right now.
You never know.
And this whole time I've had this idea that, they must, just because of how they look, which is really sad to say, but I don't think I'm the only one who's felt that way.
Oh, absolutely. Oh, they have a great car. They look great. Their life is so much easier.
What could be going wrong for them?
It's impossible for things to go wrong.
And so I love that what you were saying is it just it reminds us that everybody is human.
Well, yeah.
And when we remember that, it makes it a little bit easier to have compassion for each other.
It's so true. It just, the little things, the little things. Yeah. And I try to find those little things every day.
That's something so important.
Yeah. It's easy to not do it. It's easy to be like, oh, whatever. Yeah. But I got to say that, so my husband's very, stay in our lane. We don't, if they don't need our help, we're not going to do that. We don't want to, that's just awkward. I'm opposite. And my daughter, she's called me several times and said, Mom, I just did something that you'd be so proud of. I'm like, what? And this last one, she called and she goes, I was in an intersection and there was a lady in a wheelchair, like electric wheelchair, crossing the street, and she couldn't get up over the curb or something, and it tipped her wheelchair over.
Oh no.
So she's like, I just jumped out of my car, because I thought, what would Mom do? And I'm like, yeah, I would totally do that. Right. Jump out of the car and I went over to go help her. And then she was mean to me. She was just really mean, like, what am you doing to me? So she said, well, I just offered my help. And then I got back in my car and I left. But she's like, I am so glad that I still tried to help. I could have, that lady's ornery. Yeah. She's whatever, but I still wanted to help. Despite that she's ornery and grumpy lady that fell out of a wheelchair. And no other bystanders tried to help. They all like, oh, here somebody's helping. Somebody else will do it. Someone else is doing it. Right. But I was so proud. I'm like, I'm so like, way to go.
Way to be the one. Way
to be the one that jumps out.
Yeah.
And I'm so proud because she learned that not from me, but see, like I was an example. But you don't know who's watching. I didn't know she was watching me do all these things. Yeah.
And who's to say that somebody who was in another car watching didn't see that and think, oh man, I should do that.
I should have been the one to jump out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's so.
It's always a joke with my family that, oh, something happens. There goes Mom. I'm the first one to run to a car accident and offer help. And yeah,
that's our world needs people like that though.
It's awkward, but I do it. There was a big wreck just a couple of years ago in Sugar House, that big intersection and by Red Lobster, that big area.
Oh yeah.
And we were parked doing something in the parking lot and it was evening and there was a big crash and I jumped out of the car and I went running and my sister was there too. And she's running. I better run.
I can't be the weird one that sits in the car.
My sister came running with me. And next thing I know, I'm hugging this teenager who caused the wreck. It was her fault. And she's like, I need my mom. And I just held her. I go, okay, we'll call your mom, and had my sister. I'm like, you better go over to the people that she hit and make sure they're okay. And I got a blanket out of my car and then her mom got there and she's like, who called me? Who was it? I'm like, help me. Thank you so much. And I thought that's what I would want for my own daughter, right? Just to be there. And just random stuff like that happens to me. And I just happen to be the one that runs into trouble.
But you're like bringing the peace into the trouble.
I'm trying to. I don't know. It might get me in trouble one day. I don't know. But I'm not going to stop.
Well, the other thing too that I was thinking about that you mentioned is that being able to relate to other people. I remember, so I have a cousin. She's actually my mom's cousin. And so she's more like an aunt to me. But she's just shown up for me multiple times in my life. And Gina, it's you. I'm talking about you.
Hello, Gina.
But there was a point where I couldn't pay my bills. And so she helped me pay my utilities. And I asked her, I was like, it's so funny to think about, like I think my water bill was like $30 and which at the time just felt amazing. Like so much, right?
Yes.
And I asked her, I was like, I just need, like $30 to $50. I'll pay you back. And she wrote me a check for $100. And so I was able to pay my utilities for 2 months out of that. And I was like, you don't need to write me a check for this much. And she's like, no, it's fine. And then I told her, I was like, I'll pay you back. And with full intention, she's like, don't pay me back. This is what family is for. You needed something and I'm glad I could show up for you. And she's like, I'm just glad that I'm in a place that I can help you. And it was probably, I don't know, 5-6 years later, I was at Harmon's and there was a couple in front of me and they were just buying like
I know where
soup
this is
and
going.
bread.
I know where it's going.
And I had all my groceries and he went and he scanned his card and it didn't go through. And he was like, there should be money. I got paid today. And he was panicking and he was so embarrassed that he couldn't buy his girlfriend. They were just buying dinner.
Yeah.
And the lady was like, wait, do you want to scan it again? And he's like, no, it's fine. I'll put it back. And I was like, no, don't put it back. Can you just scan my stuff? And I paid for their dinner. And they were thank you so much. Thank you. This means so much. And they're like, we swear, like we're supposed to get paid today. And I was like,
been there.
You know what? I have been in your situation and somebody helped me. And it just makes me feel so good that I'm in a spot where I can help you someone else.
Yes.
And to have it come full circle, I remember going home and just feeling so grateful of like, man, this is the coolest feeling.
Isn't it?
Yeah.
And you could have easily just like thought, oh God, get your act together, kids. Right.
Or even just been like, oh, I've been there, but not done anything.
Not do anything. It's the acting on it. Mm-hmm. That's the hard step.
Yeah.
But doing it,
oh man, it feels
it helped
so
you
good.
and it helped them, you know?
Yeah.
And hopefully one day they'll do the same thing.
Yeah.
Yes.
To have that come full circle was so cool.
My kids have all sorts of stories of me doing random stuff like that. Yes.
Well, and you're not just setting an example for them because think about like the girl that you hugged that was in the car accident. Someday she's going to grow up and she's going to remember that she was in a car accident. And when her mom couldn't be there for her, this random
lady came
was there for her. And that she'll be the next Sherry.
Oh my gosh. Are you from here, right?
Yeah.
Okay. So do you remember Maggie Moo's in Sugar House? There's an ice cream place in Sugar House.
Yeah.
Same kind of thing. We were there with the kids getting ice cream and this really grumpy lady was yelling at the ice cream girl who was like 16.
Oh man.
And this lady was just screaming at her. And I said, you know, it was about paying extra for an extra topping. I don't know what it was. It was ridiculous. And I said, ma'am, I will happily pay for that extra topping. If you can please just tone down, simmer out a little bit. The sweet girl is just doing her job. And then this lady yells at me and I go, you know what? I got it. I got the whole thing. You just go. I got it. And this lady stormed out and I just paid for her ice cream. And the girl went in the back and started sobbing. And I didn't even think twice. I walked back through the cashier register, back into the back room, and my kids are like, what is my mom doing? And I went and gave this girl, I'm like, you need a hug. I go, you handled that beautifully. I'm sorry somebody was that mean to you. You didn't deserve that. And I just gave her a hug. And my kids still remember that. Remember you went behind Maggie Moo's, the cash register, and hugged the girl, you know? And like, I hope that would happen. Somebody would do that for my children. And you just do things because it's the right thing to do.
Yeah.
And I wasn't doing it for praise or for anything. I just I wanted to help that sweet girl.
Well, and I think it's so sweet that you did that. And then it makes me almost wonder, like, I wonder if that woman later hopefully had this because something had to have been going on for her to react that way over an ice cream
topping.
I remember when I worked in customer service, I worked for Cobra. And so you're talking to people who have been laid off now they're being told that not only do they not have insurance, but they're going to have to pay out the wazoo for the insurance that they need. And most of the time, if they're paying for Cobra, it's because they need it. My parents had it once and I remember Cobra. A lot of people we were talking to were not happy and justly so.
Of course.
And so I remember I had just got this car. It wasn't working. I couldn't afford to fix it until like a month into me having this job. So I didn't have a car for a month. My boyfriend at the time was driving me to work every day, which was completely out of the way. And finally got my car back. And the first day I go to drive it to work, it won't start.
Oh gosh.
And I'm already on like disciplinary for work. And so I call in and I'm like, my car's not starting. And I'm thinking I'm going to lose my job. Like all these things are happening. And it wasn't cheap to fix my car. And so one of my coworkers comes, picks me up on her lunch break so I can at least have a half day so I don't get a full absence. And I get in the first call that I get and the guy is like giving me he's just railing on me about how upset he is and blah, 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 and how much it costs. And I was like, I don't remember what he said, but I said something back and I just started bawling.
Oh no.
He was so mad at me and I just started bawling. You could hear him. He was like, are you okay? And I was like, I'm so sorry. I didn't mean to burst into tears, but I'm like, I just got my car fixed and and I'm telling all this stuff. And it just so happened that he was a mechanic. The job he got laid off from was a mechanic job. And he asked me a few questions about my car, and he says, you take it back to that mechanic and you tell them this, this, and this, and I bet you they'll fix it and make sure that they don't charge you. And he ended up apologizing to me at the end of the phone call. He's like, I'm so sorry.
Gosh.
And I think it was a moment for both of us to realize, like, he was only yelling at me because of the situation he was in. And I only started bawling because of the situation I was in. And so we both got to have this moment of just recognizing the humanness in each other. And I ended up, I took it back to the mechanic, and I was like, I had it written down. I'm like, they told me this, this, and this. And don't charge me.
And I'm told not to charge me. Yes.
And that's exactly what it was. But it was just like, I don't know. It was a really, really cool moment, I think, for both of us to, anytime I see somebody who is irrationally angry about something, I'm like, it has nothing to do with whatever they're yelling at.
This was the final straw. Yeah. Whatever's happening is the final straw.
And that brings it back to just, if we can recognize that, then see the humanness in that person.
Yes. Yes.
Oh, man. Well, one question that I like to ask everybody is, with everything that you have gone through, I mean, you've had such a great attitude through everything, but
I haven't, like, it sounds like the Instagram happiness, you know, behind the beautiful picture, there is crying, screaming, you know, woe is me, financial, you know, and I've been mean to people. Haven't been the best of myself. I haven't shown up for myself, but I reflect and go, okay, I was not proud of myself for that reaction. What am I going to do better? How am I going to fix this? Making the choice. Like, we're adults. I'm going to make this choice, and I can go this way and be grumpy and mean and sulk, or I can go this way and make changes. And how can I make it better? Right?
I love that.
Yeah.
I guess that kind of answers my question then. It was going to be, what advice would you give to somebody who's going through something similar?
I would say feel the pain, feel it, be mad, be frustrated. It's happening to you, right? But don't sit in it. Don't simmer. If you simmer, it's going to soak and get in you, right? Like, think of a steak. If you simmer, or marinate, that's the word I was thinking of. Don't marinate in it. Don't let it sit and soak in you. Yeah. Just, okay, I'm pissed. I'm mad. This happened. How am I going to change? What am I going to do for my life? What am I going to change? How am I going to change the narrative? Yep. There's that narrative again. Change the narrative.
I love it. Well, Sherry, thank you so much for doing this. This has been such a beautiful conversation. I love this.
I'm grateful. I didn't have a clue what to expect. You know, I was like, well, I'm going to do a podcast. What about? I don't know. Just chit chat.
We'll find out.
I can talk to anybody all day long. I love to talk.
Me too. That's why I have a podcast.
This is perfect. This is perfect. I love it. Well, thanks for thinking of me and including me in this fun experience.
I'm glad to. Thank you. Hey, thanks for listening to this episode. If you liked what you heard, please remember to subscribe and go leave a review on Apple Podcast. It helps me know what you want to hear and who I should have as a guest next. Thanks again, and until next time, keep living the life of a lotus.